I've received questions in the Q&A by students who wish to know how to develop the shapes I use in the forthcoming video relating to custom brushes. This is something which I overlooked initially, and so I've interjected here at this point to show you how we create the shapes used for the rope and flower custom brushes in the forthcoming video. You'll see that the Illustrator interface is now black. This is just because I'm now using Illustrator CC on a Mac. Don't worry, the tools and commands we use are exactly the same, and the process of creating the brushes is actually quite simple. So the first custom brush is the rope, and it utilizes a shape similar to what you see here. So I'm going to go ahead and replicate this so you can do exactly the same. So selecting the pen tool, I'm going to click in, holding shift to keep it on the vertical, clicking down to create another anchor point. I'm moving out to the bottom right hand side. I'm going to click, holding shift, dragging out to create a curve like so, clicking the anchor point, and we click up here like so, click the anchor point once again, create one up here and close the path. Once this is done, we can now hold Alt and Shift, click, drag up to copy, right click, transform, reflect. With horizontal selected, we click OK. Now we do the same again with a right click, transform, reflect, and with vertical selected, we click OK. Now we can join up this shape with the shape below and move it down slightly using the keyboard arrow. And if we highlight both shapes, select them both, go to the Pathfinder panel, click the top right hand corner and click Make Compound Shape. We now click Expand and we have our rope shape. So now for the petal, which makes up the flower shape. So we click in using the pen tool and we click down, pull out a curve like so, and we click the anchor at the bottom and close the shape at the top. And if we hold Alt and Shift using the selection tool and we click across, we can make a duplicate of this shape. We right click, go to transform, reflect, and ensuring that vertical is selected, we click OK. Now if we now hold Shift to keep it on the horizontal and drag it across, you'll see intersect appears with a pink line. Now this denotes that the shapes are perfectly aligned. So we can go ahead and select both those shapes, go to the Pathfinder panel, click top right, make compound shape and expand. So now this is one singular shape. So moving this up, just reducing it in size. We're now going to duplicate this petal so that we make a flower. So to do this, we go to the rotate tool and we click down to create a point of rotation. And holding Alt and Shift, we can click the petal and we can drag to create a petal on the 45-degree. Now we can do the same again to duplicate this move simply by pressing Alt and D or Command and D if you're using a Mac. So here we have another petal, so it's now 90 degrees. And we click again to do the same and so forth until we have the full flower. So that's how you create the flower shape, and that's how you use the rotation tool to multiply the petals. So we can now copy this. First go into Object Group to ensure that all of these petals are grouped together into a single unit. Just reduce it in size and using Alt and Shift we can create a copy. Let's reduce it in size and let's assign a different color like so, and we use Alt and Shift again to create another copy, and we'll assign a different color to this also. And lastly, we'll create one here and we'll color this one blue. Now we go to Object Group, and now this is one singular unit. As mentioned, the rope and the scatter of flowers are going to be used in the forthcoming video to create custom brushes. So if you want to develop these at this point, you can then go on to follow instructions in the video which follows. Now that I've introduced the brush tool, I'm now going to show you custom brushes. So I've made a shape here, and the reason of the shape will become apparent once you see the final brush. I'm going to reduce it in size, hold an Alt and Shift, left mouse button dragging across, and make a copy of that. And I do that again for those 2, and so on for 4, and then I copy the 8. We'll add another 4 on the end of that just to make it a little bit longer. And we highlight all, and just to make sure that there's equal spacing between each shape, I go to Align and I click this button, Horizontal Distribute Left. So this gives equal spacing between all shapes. And I'm going to go to Object and Group to group those shapes together. Now, as you might see, this is a kind of rope formation with all those shapes together. So I'm going to highlight all those again, and I'm going to go to Brushes in the Swatches panel, and I'm going to click the top right hand corner, and I'm going to go to New Brush, and I'm going to select Art Brush, and I'm going to click OK. Now I could leave this the way it is and just go ahead and click OK, but I'm going to name this Rope just so we can identify it more easily, and I'll click OK. Now, as you'll see, we'll have the stretch of rope in the Brushes panel. So that done, we can now select the stroke. Doesn't matter what colour the stroke is as long as we select the stroke. I've selected black, and I'm going to use a brush, and with the rope selected in the Brushes panel, I can now draw with a rope. Likewise, I can use the pen tool to draw a wavy line, and I can apply the rope. I've designed a logo in the past, and I've actually used a rope and a custom brush to go around the outline and the edge of the logo with a rope. So it's a very effective thing to know, and I'll now go on to show you 2 other custom brushes. So I'm going to delete this wiggly line, select this length of rope, I'm going to go to Object, Ungroup, and with Shift and Alt I'm going to copy a shape out of that. With that shape highlighted, I'm going to go to the Brushes panel, top right hand corner, click New Brush. I'm going to select Art Brush once again, I'm going to click OK. Now as you can see, rather than a series of these shapes, we now have just a single shape. So I'm going to name this Rope Brush, and we'll disable the fill by going to Swatches None with the fill highlighted on the left beneath Tools, and clicking the fill, the stroke rather. We're going to select the colour from the swatches. Now the colour we select doesn't really matter because it's already defined by the shape which we've made into a brush. So by default this brush will be brown and not black as in the stroke selected. So if we select the brush tool and we begin to paint, you'll now see that it uses this shape as the brush. Likewise, we can also use the pen tool for the same purpose. You'll see it does draw the line first with the pen tool, and we need to go to brushes and then we click on the rope brush, and there it applies it. So that's how we use this shape as a brush. So I'll now go on to show you the next, and for the next I've developed some flowers. And with these flowers, we're going to use a scatter brush. So I'll move these up just to isolate. And with those highlighted, I'm going to go to Brushes, Panel, and click right hand corner, top right, New Brush, and I'm going to go to Scatter Brush. Click OK. And when laying that flowers, click OK. Now, go to Swatches, and we'll just click any colour for the stroke, because it's going to be the colour of the flowers that's already defined, and we'll ensure that no fill is selected. And we go to the paint brush and we click on the canvas once, and this is the result. So now we have like a stamp effect. By clicking only once on the canvas, we can replicate this formation of flowers. Now, with a pen tool, let's do a wiggly line. And we go to the brushes tool. Because it's a pen tool, we need to do this process because it draws the line first. Click on that scatter brush, and it scatters the formation of flowers along the path of the pen tool. So this represents actually 2 custom brush types, but 3 ways in which I use them. As you go on to design different logos, you might find various uses for the custom brushes. The good thing is it's very easy to learn and it does pay off well, so you should jump right in and give it a go.